From Lakers and 8. Will Artie Moreno actually let Ohtani walk without getting anything for him? And would this be the worst mistake in the history of baseball, considering the haul Ohtani could bring? It's so complicated and it's so twisted.
So the question in itself is asked in a complicated manner. I totally agree. But saying, will Artie Moreno let Shohei walk without getting anything? Well, if you get to pass the trade deadline without letting Shohei go, then you're going to lose him in free agency.
Yeah.
So is that specifically Artie Moreno's fault for not trading him at the deadline to get something? I think with this current Angels team, there is a lot of blame to place on Artie Moreno for the way he's gone about things over the last however many years you want to put. I do think, to answer the question, I guess, perfectly, is I do think Artie Moreno is going to let Shohei go without getting anything, because I don't believe he's going to get traded at the trade deadline. And that's the only way you're going to get anything for him at this point. If you're going to stick with this team, and I do believe he's going to stick with it, though they're around the 500 mark, if you're going to stick with this team through the trade deadline, you're not going to get anything for Shohei when and if he walks in free agency. And he will have... Who's going to blame him? Who's going to blame him? If Shohei leaves in free agency, who's going to blame him? Not Angels fans. They'll be the first to say, you know what? I get it.
You deserve.
Go win. You deserve
that.
And it's so frustrating, but I truly believe we are going to see. I do believe Artie Moreno is going to let him walk. I don't think anything's going to be done at the trade deadline. And I don't think Moreno is going to fork over the cash or do what needs to be done with the team to retain Shohei. At this point, for Shohei to stay with the Angels, I don't think it would be high offer wins. I think it would be, you need to show me a willingness to win and do the right thing with this team. And has he done that over the last decade? I say no. I think we're going to see Shohei on a different team next year.
I do too, and it breaks my heart for Angels fans and the Angels organization, because they could get an entire farm system and a star player for Shohei Ohtani, and they could turn this team around. But as you mentioned, the last decade, we've seen it with Trout. He signed a huge, massive deal and still to this day says, I believe in this team and I want to bring a championship to Anaheim and I want to win for the Angels, but it hasn't been able to happen, and it hasn't even gotten close. Hasn't even gotten close.
I agree. The big contracts with this team, I want to specify, are not the problem.
No.
It's just the big contracts to the wrong players at the wrong time. You know, like Mike Trout's massive long contract, great. Believe in your players, do it. If they're able to do it with Shohei, I think we can all admit, great. Albert Pujols, a massive decade-long contract when he's already in his 30s? I love Albert Pujols, the player. I grew up watching Albert. But that tells you something. I grew up watching Albert.
Yeah.
When he's in his 30s is probably not the time for a decade-long, extremely expensive contract. And those contracts set the organization back years and years and years. And I'm hopeful Anthony Rendon isn't becoming one of those, but we need Anthony Rendon on the field. So long contracts, fine, but you got to do them the right way. And I don't know if Shohei is going to be one of those long contracts with the Angels.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. If you love flipping bats, swinging 3-0, or just talking ball, join us. Call us at 213-537-9339 with your questions. We have a weekly guest, and we have a lot of fun, so hit that subscribe button.